Hey guys, Sulu here. I've noticed there's been a lot of Decidueye on the ranked ladder, and I've also joined in the fun and been playing it a lot. I want to make a quick guide on how you can best use Decidueye to your advantage in the ranked ladder or in standards for fun. So before we start, please drop me a like, give a comment, and subscribe. It'll really help me make more content that's educational and fun. We have a lot of cool things planned out, and I'd really love your support. So let's get into it. The build is just as displayed on the screen. You can alternate Razor Claw for Body Barrier if you prefer playing a little bit more survivability. And for abilities, I'll be explaining pros and cons just below about all the abilities. But if you want a quick rundown, Razor Leaf and Shadow Sneak is what I run. And for items, the battle item I would use is Eject Button. You can use a lot of it to escape the ganks and have a bit more survivability in the game. The other battle items aren't as useful, just simply because this Decidueye lacks so much mobility outside of Shadow Sneak, and so you just Eject Button really lets you get away from situations you normally wouldn't. So let's get into it. What is Decidueye? It's a ranged attacker which utilizes its basic attacks to deal large DPS to groups of enemies at a time. It also has the option to play as a long-range artillery nuker, but we don't really do that too much. Being a DPS character means you're usually squishy and you're played in the back line of a team. So ideally, you're going to want the central role in the game, which is just the little jungle part. So you can level up quickly and get an advantage on other characters in the game. Otherwise, you can play as a laner, but it's a little bit more conservative. You have to play a little bit more conservative since you don't have a large level lead. Decidueye starts as Rowlet and evolves into Dartrix at level 5, and Decidueye at level 7. Its first two moves are Leafage and Astonish. Leafage shoots leaves in a certain direction that you choose and increases your attack and attack speed. It's a great execute on wild Pokemon and can be used as a buff when fighting enemies. Astonish does a small amount of damage from range as a slows a target. It's good for chasing enemies or going for executes on low health opponents since it has a little bit of a larger range. Decidueye's passive does more damage when an opponent is further away, and I think that stat is up to 20% more damage when you're further away. So try to keep your distance from enemies except when you're chasing them down or kiting away. His basic attacks stack over time, so up to 4 usages of basic attacks until you get your basic attack passive, which basically means you get a multi-hit. It's like a little razor leaf going off. Decidueye's main damage upgrade happens at level 7. You can choose between Spirit Shackle or Razor Leaf. Razor Leaf is a basic attack buff that increases your attack speed and hits multiple targets. It also does percentage health to enemies, I think which is 2% of their enemy's health. That's the upgrade. Spirit Shackle is a long-range arrow which does more damage over its charge time. At maximum charge, it will do damage to opponent if they run away from where the arrow lands. Having used both, I think Razor Leaf is better. It's not only easier to use, but it does significantly more DPS, which, as stated above, that's like sort of the character's role. It's just gonna find you more usage and make you feel better about yourself when you play. Spirit Shackle is nice burst, but its cooldown is so long, and the damage being down and being so far away from the combat means you do limited damage in the off period. Your second ability choice, which happens at level 8, is between Leaf Storm and Shadow Sneak. Leaf Storm does damage in a direction, in a small little hurricane, and then decreases opponent movement speed. If the enemy is in point blank range, it will shove them like a Mr. Mime confusion. This can actually stun the opponent as well, which is not really told about, but it's very handy. Shadow Sneak is the other option, which gives a movement speed buff for a duration until you attack a Pokemon. So you keep the movement speed until you attack someone, but I think it's about 5 seconds. It also sends a shadow to an opponent, guaranteed hit, dealing a small amount of damage and decreasing their movement speed and defenses. I personally prefer Shadow Sneak again, it just provides way more value. You're going to be using it more often, you get the movement speed, you can dodge basic abilities, and you deal a lot more DPS when it shreds objectives. Decidueye's Unite move is Knock Knock, which is, to be simply summarized, Cramorant's Unite move, but it needs to be aimed. It does more damage over time to the lower health enemies, and after a few seconds of charging, it will launch a large arrow that can go for enemies. If used well, it provides insane value for stealing objectives and dealing damage in positions where enemies cannot reach you. If used poorly, it can lead to a quick death and a wasted Unite charge. And generally, it's a great ability if used right. If used badly, it's probably going to kill you most of the time. Now, okay, so how do we use Decidueye? How are we going to make this character work? So first of all, I said earlier, you're a DPS backliner, so you want to stay at a safe range from damage threats. Knowing your damage threats is good, but just for a starter, Zero Aura, Talonflame, Lucario, huge damage threats that can kill you. You want to stay well away from them and know that there are abilities that can reach them. If they're on cooldown or not on cooldown is when you can fight them. Before using Razor Leaf, you want to make sure you have max basic attack stacks, because then you'll get bonus damage when you use Razor Leaf right away. So the Razor Leaf multi-hit will affect everyone on their team. And you'll get to melt their whole team. Really nice. To use Shadow Sneak effectively, you try to use it as a mobility move. You can travel a decent distance before the buff runs out. So make sure you only attack when you have Shadow Sneak up when you need to attack. So that's if you want to kill someone right away, or if you're chasing someone down and they're already slowed, of course you're going to attack them then. But don't attack if, like, for example, you want to get more range in them or you want to be right next to them, because then you'll just lose your movement speed bonus, because you can really run people down with this ability or run away. Your Unite should be used as an aggressive tempo move. I really think this is a hard one for people. I've seen a lot of people use this and just use it wrong. You want to be using it to force actions. Let's just say you hit level 9, you're in a top lane of bees, and the other team's level 6. Pop the Unite move right away if they're in range. Just completely gun down 2 or 3 players, get them out of the game, either dead or unable to contest, and you can easily do an objective just there because the tempo play you made. That's how I think the Unite move is best used. And you can punish an action that forces enemy out and gives a lead on your team. I think the best usage of this Decidueye is mixing it up and finding the right range for you to be key to success for the team. Push enemies when they're unable to fight back, and then prepare to retreat into safety of tower or teammates when they're trying to fight back. Okay guys, that's pretty much it. Go and dominate some games with Decidueye. I'd love to see how much success you guys can find, so come join the Discord, which is in the bio, and show me some screenshots. I absolutely love it when I get to see people doing well with builds I suggest. Now, if you haven't already, if you've watched this long, please, I would appreciate it so much if you could drop a like, comment, and a sub. Helps a lot with the algorithm, and hopefully this video will go well. And if you haven't, come check me out on Twitch. I stream most days about 8 p.m. AEST, but if not, just join the Discord and you'll get a little notification. Thanks for watching. I had a blast making my first video, and have a great day. Cheers.